In the mineral nutrition, what are all the things we have studied in the previous classes? So those are like macronutrients, micronutrients based on their molecular weight, and most of the examples for the macro and micronutrients, isn't it? So I'm not going to tell all the things now. I'll just take a few questions and I'll complete the remaining one. And then we'll see the 12th syllabus, which is quite interesting. Not quite, this is more interesting. Is which of the following is a correct set of micronutrients for a plant? Magnesium, silicon, iron, copper, calcium. I guess this is a repeated question. So yes, you can answer. Let me launch a poll. Yes. Here is a poll. Just answer in the poll now. Yes, 30 seconds is enough because this is the old question, right? So yeah. So how many of the people? 27% have choose option A. 33 have choose option B, and 40% of the people have choose option C. Nobody choose option D. That is great. So the results I have shared. I just forgot. Okay. So yes, let us see which is the correct option. That is option B. So copper, iron, zinc, boron, and magnesium. These are all the elements which comes under the micronutrients. So micronutrients, you know already, which are having a less than 10 daltons, they are considered as the micronutrients, right? So these are all the elements which belongs to the micronutrients. So that's why, yes, Gopika, correct. That's why I told you to remember the examples which belongs to the micronutrients and macronutrients. Right. So plants do not get benefit from nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, or ozone, which is not going to benefit to the plant among the following. So yes, you can answer again. So you know what, Jaga, I just forgot how to pronounce your name. Can you just please tell me? Because it's a long gap, no? Or just like you guys, how you will get forgot the subject. I just forgot a name, how to pronounce. Jagan. Yes, yes. Okay, Jagan. I'll remember now. Yes, Chirant, correct. Hita, correct. Prajwal, correct. Oh, only 46% of voting. What is this? This is a repeated question. No, Jagan. Yes, Gopika, correct. Jagan, check your answer. Yes, Monisha, correct. Yeah, I'm ending the poll. Oh, it's taking time. No, Impana. So when you guys are going to schools, when you guys are going to schools, maybe in the next week, yes. Arey, our poll is not ending very soon. Okay, Prajwal, are you guys eager to go to the schools? So yes, results are like this. 21% of the people have chosen option A. 79% of the people have chosen option D. The great thing is that no one have chosen option B and C. Because you know that oxygen is required for the plant for the respiration, whereas the carbon dioxide is required for the photosynthesis. That is why oxygen and carbon dioxide both are very much essential for the plant, which gives the more benefits to the plant. Even nitrogen also. Yes, nitrogen also requires, because we have already studied the benefits of nitrogen, the elements. We have seen the benefits of most of the elements, right? In that, nitrogen is also one of the element. Yes, nitrogen also gives most of the benefits, like a formation of DNA, RNA, right? But ozone is not going to give any benefit to the plants. Okay, now, yes, in the previous class we have seen that toxicity of micronutrients. Yes, toxicity means what? If there is any nutrient, or if there is any mineral that is required in a normal amount. So if that is happening more than, I have said, O3. Oh, okay, Jagan, sorry. I thought that instead of mentioning a D, you have mentioned a C. That's what I felt. It's okay. It's, you are correct. So if the amount of the nutrient is having in a plant more than a required amount, okay, if the plant is requiring a small or this much of amount, say 15 dalton, but the nutrient is in 20 daltons, that is considered as a toxicity. If that is present more than required amount, that comes under the toxicity. So what is the effect of toxicity? Yes, yes, Monisha, the remaining 11 chapters we will do in a vacation. You will be having vacation, no? At that time, the remaining 11 chapters will get complete. No, don't worry about that. Only we left with a 1 unit, 1.5 unit, right? Human, yes, human physiology and some chapters in a plant physiology. We will complete that. Okay, and yes, I will discuss about all the things. Just give me a few minutes. So if any micronutrient or any nutrient which is in its toxic level, what happens? That is going to not allow the other elements to come in. So then what happens? If there is a toxicity of one element, that causes the deficiency of other elements. So that is what the toxicity do. A best example is that a manganese. So if the plant is having a more amount of manganese, that manganese does not allow the plant to absorb iron and the magnesium. So then what happens if the plant is not able to absorb the iron and magnesium, then the deficiency of iron and magnesium will take place in the plants. Okay. So next, mechanism of absorption of elements. So how the plant is going to absorb the elements or nutrients. That is, first step is that mass flow, which means if you are able to remember the absorption of water, there the plant is going to absorb the water, right, by two ways. One is that two pathways. One is the apoplast pathway, second one is the symplast pathway. So in the apoplast pathway, what happens? The water molecules will move in a intercellular spaces. So if you take this as a epidermis of a root, right, and these are all the cortical cells, right, and after this you have a endodermis here with a Casparian thickening, and phloem and the xylem. All these things will present like this. So how the water will move? Yeah. So in the apoplast pathway, the water enter into the root, and that will not move into the cell. That will move in the intercellular spaces. By the intercellular spaces, it will move up to the xylem. So along with the water, the minerals also enter. So yes, the minerals are also taking the apoplast pathway. So whereas in a symplast pathway, the water will move into the cell and then again into the other cell, and finally it reaches the xylem. This is what the symplast pathway. Okay, apoplast, symplast pathway. Along with the water, the minerals will also move in. By that you will call as the mass flow. Okay, second one is that ion exchange. So just 1 minute. Yes, if you are able to see this, if there is a root, okay, in the root There are many ions, positive ions, negative ions. Say for example, there is a H plus in the root. There is a H plus in the root, but the root requires a potassium ion, and that potassium ion is present in the soil. So now what the plant will do, the plant will give the hydrogen ion to the soil, and that will take the potassium ion from the soil. Okay, this is what ion exchange. If the soil, that plant will give one positive ion to the soil, and that will take another positive ion which is required. And in the same way, if the plant requires a negative ion, that will give a one negative ion to the soil, and that will take another negative ion which is required to that plant. So in this manner, the ions will get exchanged from the root with the soil. This is the second way. One, the elements can move by a mass flow. Second, by a ion exchange. Third one is that Donan's equilibrium. So in the Donan's equilibrium, what happens? Yeah, 1 minute. So movement of ions takes place inside to out or outside to in with the help of non-diffusible ions. See, this is something or root. This is the inside of root, and this is the outside of the root. Okay, and inside the root there are 4 negative ions. To balance with the 4 negative ions, from the outside 4 positive ions will come. Those may be hydrogen ions, potassium ions, calcium ions, whatever may be. 4 positive ions will come. Those positive ions, proteins, those are called a non-diffusible ions. Okay, that is what Donon's equilibrium. Is that clear? So elements or micronutrients or macronutrients can get into the root or get into the plant by a mass flow or by ion exchange or by Donan's equilibrium. Is that clear? Just go to the participants and click on yes if it is clear. Just quickly. Only one person. So yes, let me go out. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me now? Yes? Am I audible now? Yeah. In the Donan's equilibrium, what is going to happen? We'll see now. Yeah. So if there is a plant root, just give me 2 minutes. Yes. So is anything disturbing you here? So yes, in the plant roots, here you can see if the plant is having all the negative ions in it, and that should get all the positive. Yes. So if the plant or the root is having most of the negative ions in it, that should get the positive ions, isn't it? So just to balance, yes, just to balance the ions. So now what happens? All the positive ions which are present in the soil, they should move in. They should move in through the carrier proteins. That is what called as a Donan's equilibrium. If the plant is having a more negative ions in it, the positive ions will move from outside to the inside. That is what one possibility. And second possibility is that if there are more positive ions inside the plant, screen is not visible, and yes, something is uh, okay. I'm just closing. Yes, I'm closing the chat box also. If you really want to ask anything, just raise your hand so that I can. Yes. Okay. This is what the Donan's equilibrium. If you raise your hand so that I'll get to know, I'll open the chat box. Okay. Yes. And next one is that soil as the reservoir. Yes. Who's that? Okay. Okay. So soil as the reservoir of essential elements. So yes, soil is having most of the elements, most of the essential elements, right? So in the form of, yes, all the essential elements are not in a free forms. Yes, those will be present in the form of a bicarbonates or carbonates. Okay. And next is that nitrogen cycle. Can anyone tell me what is the source of nitrogen? What is the source of nitrogen? Can anyone tell me? Yes, people from YouTube, you can also say the answer. What is the source of nitrogen? Yes, here I am getting lightning. No, no, not the lightning. Actually, you can say that atmosphere. So, source of nitrogen is that okay. And so the atmospheric nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere approximately 72%, right? So that atmospheric nitrogen will get convert as the usable form. Let me write. So this will get convert as the usable forms. So what are all the usable forms of nitrogen? Those are ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. So these are all the usable forms of, yes, 1 minute. Yes, nitrites and nitrates, yes, correct. Chirant, Preetham, yes, correct. So these, first the nitrogen which is in the atmosphere, that will get convert as the usable form, like ammonia, nitrite and nitrate. That you will call as the nitrification or nitrogen fixation, you can see. Right. After that, what happens? That fixed atmospheric nitrogen is used by plants, used by plants and also the animals. So how? By the bacteria called rhizobium bacteria, and there are so many. Anabina, nostoc, right? All these bacteria which are going to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, and they will give that atmospheric nitrogen to the plants. And the plants are eaten by the animals. So that the atmospheric nitrogen, after converting as a usable form, that will used by the plants and animals. Okay. So after what happens? After using by the plants and animals, after some time, the plants and animals will get die, isn't it? So the death, 1 minute, I got some message in the chat box. Death and decay or excretion of animal. Excretion of animal, they will get, or this used, or yes, plants and animals will get use the usable forms of nitrogen, right? That will get eliminate into the atmosphere again in the form of ammonia by the death and decay of the animal or plant. And the excretion of animal will also contains the nitrogen. Okay, yes, does the lightning fix the yes, yes, I'll, Jagan, 1 minute, I'll tell you about that. Prajwal, I don't think so. Right. So this process you will call as the ammonification. So after using the complete uh, after using the complete nitrogen in the usable forms, after that the animals will die and give the nitrogen back to the atmosphere, but not as the free nitrogen. That will give back as a ammonia. Okay, that process you will call as a ammonification. So this ammonia, with the help of some bacteria or denitrifying bacteria, that will again convert as the atmospheric nitrogen, that you will call as a denitrification. Yes, Chiranta, sorry. Nitrogen fixation is that fixing of atmospheric nitrogen into the usable forms. Nitrification is a different process. Okay. Yeah. So now, how the atmospheric nitrogen is going to be converted as a usable form? There are three ways. One is that the natural or the physical way you can see. So by the use of a lightning, if there is a thunderstorm and lightning takes place, that will get convert as the ammonia, sorry, nitrate. And by the industries also, in the industry also, you can fix the atmospheric nitrogen as a ammonia. And by the biological nitrogen fixation, with the using of some bacteria, the nitrogen can be fixed, atmospheric nitrogen, that is called as a biological nitrogen fixation. And I told you already, we are not going in a depth. Yes. Okay, this is all about the nitrogen cycle. And in the biological nitrogen fixation, sorry, yes, in the biological there are two types of the bacteria you can see. One is that free living bacteria, and another one is that symbiotic bacteria. Okay, so free living bacteria are those bacteria which does not going to combine with the any plant. Okay, this bacteria is just yes, let me give you the example. Okay, so these bacteria just present in the soil and they will fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil itself. Whereas in the symbiotic bacteria, they are going to associate with the plants. Okay, they are going to associate with the plants and fix the atmospheric nitrogen and give that to the plants. Okay, so the best example for the free living bacteria is that Azobacter. And symbiotic, which is an example for symbiotic? Can you give me the example for symbiotic bacteria which is going to helpful for the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen? Yes, Very good. That is Rhizobium bacteria. Okay. So is it, let me just open the chat box again. So is it blocking anything? Yes, yes, right? It's blocking again. Yes, I'm just closing the back this. So there are some bacteria called Anabina, Nostoc. So what happens to them? These two bacteria, they will act as both free living and symbiotic. They have a capacity to act as both free living bacteria and the symbiotic bacteria. Okay, let me just quickly go over nodule formation. Just yes, in the nodule formation, what is going to be happen means, let me just tell you quickly. So yeah, in the nodule formation, you can see that in the leguminous plant, the bacteria called Rhizobium bacteria, that is going to be act in the anaerobic condition. Okay, so yes, that anaerobic condition is going to be provided by the leg hemoglobin in the plant. Right after that, the Rhizobium bacteria, which is going to be enter into the root hair and forms a thread called infectious thread. And this infectious thread is having a two types of cells. One is that nitrogen fixing cell, and another one is that bacterioid cells. So this nitrogen fix the nitrogen, whereas the bacterioid cells, yes, the cells helpful for the rapid division. Okay, please go slowly. This is uh, nothing is there. Okay, so the plant is going to have the substance called leg hemoglobin. That leg hemoglobin will give the anaerobic condition to the bacteria. That bacteria only activate, or that will act during the anaerobic condition. That is why the plant is itself converts as or gives the anaerobic condition to the bacteria. Then the bacteria will enter into the root hair, forms the infectious thread. Infectious thread means the bacteria one yes, if there is a one bacteria to this, another bacteria will join to this another. So like this, infectious thread will form. That infectious thread will enter into the root hair, and that infectious thread is having a two types of cells called a nitrogen cells, nitrogen fixing cells, and bacterioid cells. Nitrogen fixing cells will fix the atmospheric nitrogen, whereas the bacterioid cells helpful in the rapid division of the cells. So the rapid division causes the nodule. Okay, this is how root nodule will get formed. Is that clear now? I may speak till still. Monish. Yes? Is it clear? Say so, not list. Quickly, we don't have time. Yes. Once again. So Tanuja, this is very easy, okay? So the bacteria, Rhizobium bacteria, which is actually needed for the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen, right? So that Rhizobium bacteria, for the activation of that, that requires anaerobic condition. So to give the anaerobic condition, the plant is going to have a substance called a leg hemoglobin. That leg hemoglobin gives the anaerobic condition to the bacteria, and bacteria forms an infectious thread, which means that enter into the root hair and forms a thread that will enter to the cortex region, right? After entering the cortex region, this is going to have two types of cells. One is a nitrogen fixing cell and bacterioid cell. The bacteria is itself having a two types of cells. Okay. mm, okay, really, Pritam? Right. So this nitrogen fixing bacteria will fix the atmospheric nitrogen, whereas a bacterioid cells will stimulates the rapid cell division. Then the nodule will get formed. That's it. Okay. And fate of ammonia, you need to tell me about this. So what is going to happen to the nitrogen or ammonia when it get enter into the plant? Okay. So now, yes, the most exciting thing is that class 12th syllabus. Yes, I'll just tell you what is the syllabus involved in this, and after that, from the next class, we are going to fate word means. Fate word means, Chiran, just what is going to happen to that ammonia. Is ammonia is a usable form, right? So how the plant is going to be used? The ammonia, or yes, if the plant is absorbing the ammonia, what is the use of that ammonia which is present being present in the plant? That you need to tell me. That's it. Okay. So yes, there are 5 chapters in the 11th and in the 12th also. Sorry, in the 5 units in the 11th and 5 units in the 12th. So we are continuing with that because NEET contains all the 10th unit, 10 units. Okay. So 6th unit is that reproduction. So what we will see in the reproduction is that in the complete reproduction unit, we are going to see how the reproduction is going to taking place in the living organisms, from the bacteria to the humans, how the organisms, all the organisms are going to be reproduced. Okay, I'll tell you what are the chapters involved in it. And genetics and evolution, which is my personal favorite. Genetics and evolution, which is the great chapter and which involves the maximum marks. It is 18 marks. Okay. So in the genetics and evolution, we are going to see actually about the genetics, especially about the genes, which is the responsible for the most beautiful things happening in the world, and also the most weirdest things happening in the world. Everything depends on the genes, right? So yes, in this unit, we are going to see who is the father of genetics, who has involved invented the genetics, right? And what is the use of gene, where does the gene present, and what is the evolution, how the evolution has been taken place. All these things we are going to see in the genetics and evolution. So reproduction unit contains a 14 marks, whereas genetics and evolution unit contains a 18 marks. Maximum marks comes from the genetics and evolution. And biology and human welfare. So in this unit, we are going to see uh, how what I can say, yes, how the microorganisms are going to be useful in the human welfare. So you can take the food production, right, and sewage treatment. All these involves the microorganisms, and sewage treatment, food production are useful for the humans, right? So how the microorganisms are used in the human welfare, that you are going to see in this chapter. And next is that biotechnology and its applications. So technology with the biology, that is what the biotechnology. Okay, so by using the biology or biological methods, we are going to have the many applications. So have you ever heard about a DNA fingerprinting? Yes. Can anyone, have you heard about DNA fingerprinting? Yes or no in the chat box? So DNA fingerprinting, yes. So you know, right? So what is going to happen in the just brief, okay? Just one application I'm saying, and there are a lot of applications with the biology. Okay, in all the fields, in movies, yes, in movies or in a programs called not a programs in a series or in the CID, right? In all these things, you might have seen that. So, in the DNA fingerprinting, what happens if there is a murder happen at a particular place, and you can get the 2 types of DNAs. One DNA which matches with the dead body, and another DNA which is the new one. So what the people or the forensic people will do, first investigation will take place. After the investigation, uh, they'll have a set of suspects, or say three suspects, and among the three suspects they'll collect the DNA samples, right? After collecting the DNA samples, they analyze the DNA and they'll get the report. In that, what happened after analyzing the DNA, they'll compare second DNA which is going to be in the spot, right? That second DNA, or sorry, that DNA which we got in the spot, that is a murderer DNA, right? They'll compare that with the uh, suspect DNA, and is going to match us, no, that is exactly who is the culprit. They'll decide. Okay. That is one of the application of biotechnology, you can say, and there are many applications. Okay, and ecology and environment. So in this, you are going to see some of the environmental issues. You have the animals. In the wild animals, you can see the predation, competition, and predation, prey and predator relationship. All these things you will see. Okay. Yes, I got one. Yes, in the forensic lab. Correct. Yes, the first chapter, I mean, first unit or sixth unit includes asexual reproduction in the organisms. Okay, so it completely we are going to study the asexual reproduction, not the sexual reproduction. Okay, only the asexual reproduction in the plants or in the animals or in the micro. And second unit, second chapter involves sexual reproduction for flowering plants, and then human reproduction and some reproductive health. So all these things involved in a reproduction unit. Whereas in the genetics, we are going to have Mendel and his principles in the first chapter, and then molecules of inheritance. We are going to study about the molecules, the DNA, which is going to be responsible for the this. Okay, responsible for the genes and the genetics. That DNA replication, DNA and central dogma, everything we are going to see in this chapter. And evolution, how the evolution has happened, the origin of life taken place, all these things. Biology and the human welfare, that is human health and disease, how the microorganisms cause diseases. Yes. And Sandeep, just turn off your video, okay? Microorganisms will cause the diseases, right? And strategy for enhancement in a food production with the microorganisms, how you can produce the food, different foods. Okay, we'll see. And microbes in a human welfare, I told you, no, sewage treatment and food processing, industrial production, everything we'll see. Antibiotics. And the ninth unit is that biotechnology and its applications. So in the biotechnology, we'll see the genetic engineering, which is a most, or which is a quite interesting topic. Along with that, application technology in health and agriculture. Applications, we'll see usually the applications, and how the insulin is going to be produced, vaccine, and stem cells. Do you know anything about stem cells? With the stem cells, we can produce the organ, the complete organ. That is the capacity of stem cell. So in this chapter, we can see the stem cell technology and gene therapy, right? And many genetically modified foods, everything we can see. And ecology and environment, in that we can see the organism and populations, like I told you, predators, parasitism, all the things we will see, and the ecosystem also, and the biodiversity and its conservation, right? And environmental issues, some of the air pollution, water pollution, all these things we will see. So this is all about the 12th syllabus, which includes in these 5 units: reproduction, genetics and evolution, human welfare, biotechnology and its application, ecology and environment. Totally 70 marks, and I am planning to complete the 5 units in within December. Okay, that includes also the 11th syllabus. 11th syllabus will be covered during your vacations. Okay. So that's it for today. From the next class, we will see or we actually step into the syllabus. Okay. Yes. So here is a poll, and if you have any doubts, just ask me. Answer in the poll, and if you have any doubts, you can me in the chat box. Actually, I didn't got a proper time to explain all the syllabus in detail. So don't you guys have any doubt? Hmm. I didn't get you, Prajwal. In Dira, will you upload a modules in older link? So yes, all the modules are present already. Yes, everything is present in the. Have you ever? Yeah, thank you, Preetham. Thank you, Gopika. So from next class, I'll make sure that not to happen. So here, what happened? No, if power goes, everything will goes off. Internet, network, everything will went off. That's the problem. We're trying to sort it out. No, in the market it is not available, Chiran. You can in the drive. In the 11th class link, the module are also uploaded. Oh, different is given for the 12th module. So yes, for the 12th modules, different link is given. We'll upload that in the group description. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So yes, Kiran, you're from. Okay. So you guys can get the materials, no? That they'll provide. The Avanti people who are present in the Hassan, they'll provide you the materials, no issues. Module. You go to the when you guys are going. Oh, within 2 to 3 days. I thought it is not. Yes, it's available. Everything will be provided. No, you don't take tension. Okay. Yeah. So yes, maximum voting has been ending the poll and class 2. Thank you.